Hello, everybody, and welcome to Allianz Joy. I'm so glad to see you today. Glad to be here. We're going to have a great episode of Allianz Joy. My name is Eliane Haan. I am a wellness and life coach, and I do midlife and transformation coaching. So I do help people a lot with their way, finding a purpose, right? Finding a way in life, finding healing ways to move forward through pain and through grief. And I always love on this show to bring you joy, bring you a lot of information about what we can do to come to that amazing, peaceful, and happy place of joy. And today I have a guest on that is all about joy, joie de vivre, and joie de vivre means joy of life. And my guest today, Katja Lany. Katja Lany is a healer, and she is in Colorado, and we have a lot in common working with people and doing several different things. Katja loves to help people find their inner voice, and sometimes our voice is giving us a difficult time, right? So we're talking about people we're talking about feelings that are really boycotting us and sabotaging us, and we're getting stuck, and we're feeling that we're obstructed in life and we can't really move forward. And Katja is helping people with that through several different techniques. And it's very important to know that as a joie de vivre energy healing, she supports them to no longer be ruled by that saboteur. And I love her story. I love what we're going to give to you today in our conversation. We want to be guided by our wise woman inside. And of course, we're looking for that wise woman inside. And so we feel appreciated, right? We want to enjoy satisfaction of the fruits of life. We want to experience a real life. And so welcome, Katja. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for being on the show with me today on Allianz Joy. And tell me what kind of joy you're bringing and where are you? And give me a little bit of information about who is Katja.
So great to be with you, Eliane, and so great to be with your audience. When I read how you describe your audience as one who is interested in the power of joy and positivity and personal growth, that so resonates with me. So I really love that we are connected through this shared passion. And then you also speak about how you like to create win-win relationship for women, and that's also something that I say, yes, I stand for that too. So I
Thank you
wanted
so much.
to begin by expressing that. And then to your question, who am I? Yeah, that is certainly a question that kept me up at night. I'm really digging those deep questions. Who are you and why are you here? That is definitely something that has been top of mind for me all the time. And right now I am actually feeling a little bit uncomfortable because I'm somewhat in between what do you do statements. There's this saying, I'm in between jobs. And to me, what came to me this morning was I'm somehow in between what do you do statements, because I used to speak and write a lot about self-sabotage, and this is certainly true for me. But at the same time, when I touched base with my mentor recently, she was telling me that while this is true, it's still not quite raw enough for me to really click with the people I'm meant to serve. So I was sitting again with this question, what is really the thing that I need to express to make that click happen? And I'm wondering if you, Eliane, might be the one who is helping me today to express it in a way that I really connect to the people I'm meant to serve. And it's always true that I'm serving the people who are like I was when I started my journey, right? So I was sitting a lot with that question, who was I when I started my own healing journey? And the way it felt true to me up to very recently was, yeah, I was suffering a lot from being in this place where I felt taken for granted, where I felt my hard work wasn't paying off. And yeah, I see all those other people who are having this great life, but for me, this isn't really in reach. I can maybe only dream of having that great life, but that's really all I can hope for.
Mhm.
So I was speaking about how I want to help people get to this place where they feel appreciation, where they experience a great life that is real, and where they have this satisfaction with the fruits of their labor. And it was really that I was suffering from being in this place where I feel I give and give and give, and there is no reciprocity, and that really bugged me. But when my mentor asked me, yeah, but what really was the crisis this woman was feeling, I was opening up to the possibility that there was something even deeper underneath all of that frustration with having no reciprocity. And what I came to see was, when I started on my healing journey, I was in what we commonly describe as a midlife crisis. I was in my mid-40s, and with that age, I was approaching the time where I wasn't gonna be able anymore to give birth to children. So I was wondering how I was going to be able to birth my legacy. And with that, I was looking at the secret vow that I had made to myself, because I had been growing up in an early childhood environment that didn't feel good to me. So I was very strong with this wish to create a family that was different from the family of origin. So looking at how toxic the environment felt with my mom and dad growing up, I wanted to create a family with joyful togetherness. Mm-hmm. And then as that 45-year-old, I looked at my family, and if I was really honest, I hadn't really reached that goal. So I felt I was letting myself down in this mission of creating a family with joyful togetherness. And what I was really seeing in my family was that everybody was on their computer screens behind closed doors. There was 5 people in the family, but everybody was behind closed doors, and that didn't really feel like I was successful with that intense desire to create a family with joyful togetherness.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. Wow, thank you for sharing. Katja, you bring so many answers up in me that it's almost like I want to go in 4 or 5 different directions in the first place.
Yeah.
I think if I could start off with what you're saying, and thank you for being vulnerable about that. That's one of these difficult words for me. If we are, I feel the same. I feel that sometimes I have been there. Let me say it that way. I think we all in our midlife, as we are working, especially with women in midlife and reaching out on this platform to women, Win-Win Women is really a platform to care and to connect and to share these stories, right? And I'm so grateful for you because you're sharing that vulnerability of, I don't think you're alone. We're all there in our mid 40s or 50s, not just empty nesting, but also that crisis of, okay, so I took care, I took care, I took care, I took care, and my picture doesn't even look good, right? We all do that perfect picture on the mantle with a perfect family, but everybody is kind of disconnected and in this new world of computering and phones, and it's really not what we thought our dream was. It's not coming that way together. And then we're gonna just really deep search ourselves. And I think that is with a lot of women the case. Not necessarily that the kids are bothered by it at all. And maybe they feel in a really good place, and the family is in a really good place, and the husband or your wife is in a really good place, whoever and wherever it is, that we're all thinking that, we do need to start with ourselves to come to that place of peace. Right. And that's just where you were. And I think you're not alone at all. And
Mhm.
when that's pulling you in different directions of who am I gonna serve, I think that tells you by the story and your expertise who you're going to serve. All we are doing as coaches and healers, I think, and I feel it that way for myself. I need to continuously keep telling myself it's not about what I say or what I do, it's just by being. I just need to be there for people that are searching out to be with me and be listened to, right? And one of my coaches gave me, as you say, you working with your mentor a lot. I've worked with a coach a lot. And I think everybody needs a coach, right? So as we're coaching
Yes.
people, we learn and we constantly grow ourselves, and we grow in so many different directions. And I think the essence here is that if you're in a good place of being, if you feel joyful at some place of happiness and joy and experience, then you can just share that. And he told me at some point, people don't need advice. We
Yeah.
can get advice everywhere. We can advise on Google the whole day and watch 10 more talk shows, right? It's all about you and your personality, your being comfortable and being there for others that are seeking you. And there will be many people that seek you and your
Yeah.
personality. And I think that's what we really are supposed to do. If you're calling yourself a healer, or you're the wise woman, you've done it, you just experienced it, you went through it, you went through those difficulties of life. I think we're just all coming into a really beautiful place of life
Mm.
without it's difficult to constantly give it a description and a definition, right? I find that difficult too. What are you doing? "Oh, I'm helping others. I want to help." Well, what is it really, right? What is your avatar? Well, it is women in their midlife and helping others that are just, we're just maybe a couple of steps ahead because we worked on it the last couple of years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so true. And when we are looking at what is really the reason for this joy of life to get activated again, it is when I am able to really fully feel and accept the pain that is true for me. And it is so automatic for people to say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." When a friend is asking you, "How do you do?" Then there's such an automatic answer, I'm fine, I'm fine." But really under the surface, it might look quite different, and there might be huge pain that people have been carrying with them for decades.
Yes.
And it's really important to open up and to speak about that pain. And that is something that is dear to my heart, to have those raw and vulnerable conversations, and to not have taboo topics that nobody dares to talk about, because it is really this pain that connects us.
Yes.
I mean, if we are in this honest place, then it's probably almost every human being who says, yeah, there is pain in my life, and it would feel good to speak about it with my friends, and to feel I am not alone in this, because that is a big fear that many people have, that fear of rejection is ultimately a fear of being left alone, and having nobody to turn towards to share what's really true deep within.
Yeah. Thank you for saying, yes, thank you for that. It's so true. It's true too. I think a lot of us, and especially as women, again, I'm going there because I feel that we build kind of a wall because we're so used to taking charge as caretakers in the family, kids, and early life, right, and early career. And a lot of us have that early career for reasons of just to work and to contribute and to be busy and helping the kids grow up and do all that. And then we come into a place of, now what? Was this really what I liked to do? And like you say, many times when I heard you speak earlier in several, in different podcasts and
Mm-hmm.
speaking opportunities that I've listened to and speaking with you, the thing is that where we came from, if we go through that pain, if we start working with it, if we do that self-development, then we start working with that pain. It doesn't go away, but we start working with that pain. And as you said, if we work with it, we become raw and we can help each other. And in my case, that's not so much always, just like we talked about, what am I going to do and where am I going to find people to speak with? That is exactly what we want. We want that rawness. We want these honest conversations. And all I usually say to somebody is there anything that I can do for you, or can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then maybe from there on, establish that relationship, because yes, and I think it's also a sign of the time, not just women do it all themselves and, not reaching out, but also a sign of the times that everybody's just, less out there and less connected. We're just less connected unless it's this, right? But not physically connected and out there. And I also think that it's a generation thing of all us women now coming in their 50s and 60s and thinking that we used to not talk and complain. I didn't talk. Does that make sense? I didn't complain.
Yeah.
You just didn't
It
go.
is so true that we might not be connecting as we used to connect as women in earlier times, but it is what we are craving so much these days as well. We are craving to connect deeply again, because that is what causes us to lose our joy of life, that everything is so superficial these days. And it's definitely true for me that I'm craving to go deep with people again,
Yes.
because those superficial conversations, they bore me.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I get that with you. I mean, so with you. It's definitely true that uh, we're very fast. We don't listen so well to others. We are less mindful, right? I say that a lot. We take less time to really be with somebody because we're always on the run and busy. So the whole layer of everything is more superficial. I agree with you on that. And I also think deeply that going into deeper conversations scares people, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, as we know, being vulnerable is also not cool, right? And a lot of people are just not there yet, that they're ready for that, or that superficial builds a nice wall, right? We don't have to go there, we don't have to talk about it. And and earlier also said something which is really profound, and I think with women constantly, that we're constantly in that place of judgment, that what if I'm gonna open up about my pain and everybody will think this or that, which is maybe not seen as, so I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you that we should be raw and vulnerable and talk about and support each other. But there's a thing that we're thinking that, well, what is everybody gonna think if I say that?
Yeah.
Or if I feel
And with
I
this
feel that.
self-judgment, there we are in the midst of the self-sabotage topic again. And I would say, yes, there is often this fear, how will the other person judge me?
Mhm.
But honestly, I have always been the one judging me the most harshly.
Yes, but that is where we are going to the topic of, yay, how can I self-sabotage myself to the utmost, right? And I'm making a joke of it because I've been there. I mean, constantly being difficult to self and constantly being in the pain of the past, not working through or working with it, and just letting it affect me to where I am blocked. And
Yeah.
that is where you can't move forward, or you feel that you're staying on the same plateau. You're being on a plateau, and you don't want to dive back, but you can't really reach out to climb up either, right?
Yeah.
It's just constant the same, and that is a really difficult place to be. I am intrigued by your story of where that came from, and how I think that is for all of us in our lineage. And I love how you always say, I want to create a legacy. I want to just break out of that pattern. And I love that. So
Yeah.
tell me what that pattern was for you, because it's for all, it's pretty deep, and a lot of people will recognize that.
Yeah.
It goes back to family, it goes back to your dad, it goes back to grandparents, right? The way we were raised.
Yeah. This pattern of self-sabotage really shows up in that inner voice that makes your life a living hell, because you judge yourself so brutally in a way you wouldn't dare to speak to other people. But with self, there's this automatic put down in self-sabotage. So the question really becomes, how can I step out of this automatic pattern of putting myself down, and how can I become my own best friend rather than my own worst enemy?
Yeah, so you're just exactly saying there, we do have to get along with ourselves first before we can step into a really
Yeah,
strong place of being and light. And then when you step into that place of light, we can share it, because people will come to that light, right?
exactly.
I was also in my former life, I call it, I was also waiting. I was miserable. And I was miserable because there was trauma. But I might have recognized it, but I was still waiting for other people, places, events, and happenings to step in and make me happy, and make me come out of that.
Yeah,
But I didn't understand that I had to do that work myself as well. So I had to do all the work of loving me and coming into a good place of confidence and finding a purpose. And that might be different ways, that might sometimes be scattered, as you started saying at the beginning. Sometimes you feel scattered with that. Where do I need to be, right? But it's all falling in place together if you're feeling that you're coming into that place of light, and whatever you do is for the good because you are putting it out there. But we have to do it ourselves first, and really believe that it's possible, and feel that it's possible inside.
yeah. Well, I have come to find for myself on my own healing path is that the way out of this dark place into the light is really becoming honest about that role of victim. Because when I am in this place of victimhood, then I might wait for somebody to come and rescue me
Mhm.
out of that role. right? But ultimately, I need to be my own rescuer. So the first step is to accept, oh yeah, I am in this place of victim where I feel I can't really do anything to get out, and I'm dependent on somebody else to save me. But it is really me creating my life through the thoughts and emotions that I am having. So when I want to have a life that is different than the life that I'm seeing, and yeah, when I'm seeing a life that is dark and grim, then I of course want to change that. Then I need to step into this responsibility of changing my thoughts and emotions. And it is really my faith that supports me in accepting that responsibility. That is an insight that came to me very recently, that it's really all about the strength of my faith at this point.
Strength of your faith,
Mm-hmm.
and our faith, and strength of our thinking, right? Because it's constant thought patterns that when I was in victim mode, I didn't even recognize that was victim mode. And I
Yeah.
didn't really think that I really didn't recognize that I was in a dark place even, right? I was trying to be light and busy and just do and go in a million directions, not recognizing a lot of thoughts, patterns that I had, and not recognizing that I was a victim waiting for somebody else, to give me that amazing job, or to give me
Mm-hmm.
that amazing life, or what if I have children, I'll be happy, or what if I can buy that house, I'll be happy, whatever, all outside stuff that didn't work anyway, right? Waiting on that exterior stuff to make you happy is just not working. And like you said, we have to go so deep into that work. Then you brought something else up there, then that gives us what I call now, if we are starting to do that self work and starting to recognize those patterns coming from victim to victory, we really have to create that self-respect. And
Mm-hmm.
I was lacking, as you started telling at the beginning of our hour or two, that there was such a feel of not being worthy and respected and validated. I went through that. Most of the time, though, yeah, it was real. But most of the time, it was also my constant thinking in that victim mode that I was not going to be respected anyway. In a sort of, what do I need to do to be validated? What do I need to do to be seen, to be heard, right? How can I contribute? But if I stayed in that really dark thinking mode anyway, like it will never happen, then that negative thinking was gonna not make it happen anyway, right? Although I was not surrounded by very good people that would help me forwards, I should say, I needed to see that that was my thinking as well that kept me into that place. And I don't think that um, for the last maybe 20, 30 years or so, we know so much more about our mindset, right? And what we think is what we do and what we are going to create. What you just touched on, I can create my life from here. And I don't think we were aware of that. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. And when we make this step from victim to victor, then um, we are in this place where we have accepted our role as creator of our lives. And when I'm in that place, then I can really have that self-respect that I might not have had in my self-sabotage pattern, because now I see that I have overcome a pattern that was very addictive. So I can now celebrate myself as somebody who has stepped out of addiction, and this addiction um, to your comfort zone That is probably the strongest addiction out there. I mean, to me, it feels stronger than any substance addiction.
Yeah,
Because it's just so automatic to go to that place.
Yeah, self-inflicted pain, loss of self-esteem, negative thinking, constant resentment and anger and fear to get out there, and you hit the nail on the head. Is it? Yeah, I was going to say the needle. Sometimes my language gets messed up. You hit it right there on the head, because it is so true that we're addicted to that comfort zone. And I was going to say that previously when you brought that up. It is so easy to stay in this comfort zone, because what we're doing, and I'm way not done yet, and I would think you would agree with me, when we are now in this place of growth, I'm not done growing. Now that all of a sudden I'm really excited about even learning more and doing more work for myself. But it's work. And I keep saying that a lot. Respect is an amazing word for me. It's very important in all relationships, more so to me than love, because I always say I can love a lot of people in different ways. But it's very hard to gain respect or to give honest, full respect to somebody. But we are not, we're still growing. Thank you, Patty. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. But it's just so amazing that we're constantly feeling that we need to, knock ourselves out of it, from that role. So when we start giving ourselves self-respect, we can grow into a place of even more. And that's just what I love to call with you the wisdom of the wise women, right? We're just going into that. Yeah, yay. I want your hair color. Yay, great, right? It's awesome. That is really, really beautiful with them that you carry with you and all the work that you're doing. But the addiction, the comfort zone, what I sometimes find with my clients, that is easier. It's easier. And we tend to go to our inner thinking. We tend to go to the negative side. We tend to go to the drama. We tend to take in all the, oh, why me? Right? We love that place. We love that place of, I don't know why this is happening to me. And of course, I'm not joking about terrible things happening to people, but we like to stay in that energy. We like to stay
It's so funny that we want to stay in that comfort zone even when it feels so miserable.
Yeah.
It's because we are afraid of trying out something new, because what human beings are afraid of most is change, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's very true. And so when you're saying human beings are afraid of change, I keep saying they are so afraid of that word, because it has somehow related to, and with women, men too, with oh, now I'm gonna be a different personality, or now I have to change who I am. But if I call it growth, I completely eliminated the word change out of my vocabulary with my clients. So that I always use growth, so that if you can grow in your relationship, or if you can grow in your communication together, or if you can grow into your own self-being, your self-esteem, respect for yourself, then you don't have to change the fun little girl that was in ourselves, right? The child that was in our inner child, that was a fun kid. That should always be there. We were hurt, we were beaten, we were kind of really touched by others that maybe messed that up, but we don't want to change that inner wonderful energy, personality, and inner being, but we can grow into something more amazing.
Yeah. And what I have found is that when there is this desire to grow into a greater version of myself, I really need to say yes to death. I need to die to the person I have been before, so I can so I can be reborn as that newer, upgraded version. And that's where it becomes so difficult, because it is really this surrendering of the of the old and letting that die away so I can have this place to create the new from there.
Yes. Explore more and definitely just grow from there. Yes. And it's so true. Yes, it's so true. I love what you're saying. How can I imagine what kind of things can I imagine if you would work with me? You're working a lot through meditation and breathing techniques. Can you give me some of the things that you're really mastering? You're mastering a lot. I know you're a master at a lot of different techniques, but tell me and the audience a little bit about things that we can do together as
Yeah.
clients and Katja.
Yeah. One of the things that I am most grateful for having learned and mastered that is the ability to feel viscerally. Because when I started out on my journey, I was living in my head only. And I would be able to speak about feelings from that mental level, but I wasn't able to feel my emotions on a somatic level as a felt sense that I had in my body. So having gone through this experience of bringing my energy down from my head through my heart into my body, that is something that I'm now extremely passionate about facilitating for other people too. And another thing that I'm super grateful for is that ability to take greater risks due to trusting more. And I have found that before I really had my breakthrough experience on my healing journey, I wouldn't even dare to be an active player on the board of life. I would like watch from the sidelines. And with that attitude, I was losing from the beginning. I was robbing myself of the opportunity to win by not even participating actively. So that is another thing that I would like to offer people when they work with me, that they start risking to be that active player in their own life, and not to let themselves be held back because they don't dare to make mistakes. This was something that was so strong for me. I didn't want to do anything wrong. See, there is this perfectionism of the self-saboteur again. And because I didn't want to make mistakes, I wouldn't dare anything. I wouldn't even allow myself to play.
Yeah.
And it's really so much more fulfilling when you allow yourself to be an active player on the game board,
And not to
and
worry
to
anymore.
really feel emotions on a somatic level. That is really what we all came here for on planet Earth. It's um it's what is characteristic for being a human, that we have this ability to feel our emotions in our body and to use the emotions as messengers. Our emotions are here to guide us. They are the ones telling us, this is the direction you need to head to. This is the next step to take. It's not the mind who is supposed to be the decision maker. It is the emotions that are to be consulted, and that can be our true guide in where we are heading next.
Yes. You're calling gut emotions, you're calling
Mm-hmm.
feelings. in the center of life where it all is, right? Our belly, I talk about that a lot. The center of life where we should feel that joy, where we should live into that joy and happy place and energy. I love the fact that you're working with people on stepping in.
Yeah.
Forget all that self-saboteur. I love the name self-saboteur. We are. And I love the fact that you said we're just, that's completely out there thinking like, I'm going to be the wallflower because then I don't have to engage. I'm not going to get judged. And it's my perfectionism. Ooh, women, perfectionism, ew, right? And so it's holding us back all the time because we want to be fit in or whatnot, right? We want to be the perfectionist right there. And then the wallflower that's missing out always, to me, speaks a book that I talk about for years already, The 5 Regrets, right? Where we come to our part in life that we don't want to say, oh, wow, I just didn't really engage. I could have done so many things that were really me. I missed out on all the things that were really my life, that were really my energy, that were really my personality because I didn't step into it. So when you say take an action and stepping into your own, not caring, because it gives you joy, right? And we don't want to hurt anybody on purpose, but we don't have to care what everybody thinks. We can't please everybody. I used to be one of those that wanted to please everybody, everybody. And
Yeah,
all
but rocking the boat, making everybody happy.
yeah, and I was trying to make everybody happy. If I couldn't, I would be so worried about 2 people that I forgot about the 100 that I made happy. I wasn't grateful because I wasn't looking in the right direction. I
Yeah.
was looking to the people that I couldn't please, maybe 1 or 2, and forgetting about the other 100 that was all they were always in my life. They loved to be with me. And so I was forgetting to be grateful for the things that I had, looking into the wrong direction, being being fearful of being judged and being not
Yeah.
not right and not good enough and not being so whatever, right? All this crazy stuff that we're doing is so valid. Katja, I want to thank you for an amazing conversation. I'm going to wrap it up for today. An amazing conversation with you. I love your being. I love you in your being. I love the personality that you have and gave to us, your heart that you told us today, that you opened for us today. Thank you so much for that. I loved our conversation. I can go on for hours because now this is the time that we can actually sit the whole night and go on with this, right? And sit together on the couch in the deep night with a good fire. I loved it. Thank you so much. People can definitely, if you want to reach out to me, all my viewers, thank you for being here today. We're going to go off live and we're going to go into a great after conversation with our viewers. Katja, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate you. Let's continue this conversation at some point. You are beautiful. If people want to reach out to you, we can find Katja Lany. Lany, do I say Lany?
We're exposed. You can say Lany or Lany.
We'll find Katja Lany or Lany on Facebook. Reach out. It's the easiest way to reach out and message. And definitely all her information will also be on this channel, on the replay, and on my YouTube channel. So watch us and watch our social media. We will do the replay right there as well if you missed today. So I hope you will connect with us and be there. Thank you so much, dear. Appreciate it. And thank you for watching Elion's Joy today. I will see everybody next week.